Friends, something special has turned up on our doorstep. It is l'Storico Marchio Maranello. But it's not red, it's blue! It is the 2015 Ferrari California T, T being the operative letter there. Let's go over the highlights while we work on the full episode. Now, I feel we need to start at why it's the T, and that is underneath the hood. But before I open up the hood, I need to forewarn you guys that what is underneath the hood is somewhat addicting, not so much to drive, but to look at. Now, you've been warned. So we work out of the YouTube space Los Angeles, and let's just say there's not a lot of car guys there, so when our different cars turn up, they rarely give it a second look. But when this turned up, let's just say everyone gave it a second look. But then there's us. We open up the hood and we are gawking at this. This, friends, this is artistry, and it's... Anyway, I'm going to stop waxing on politically about this. There's a couple of things I want to point out here. Number one is a 3.9 liter V8 twin turbochargers. It is 552 horsepower, 557 pound-feet of torque. Now, there are three important things about this that we're going to cover in the full episode. Number one, notice where the engine is placed. Number two, the exhaust manifolds has a huge impact on the output of this car. And number three, the overall really impact of turbocharging on Ferrari as a company. We'll cover all of that in the full episode. Now, as I put the hood down, notice the color. I love this blue. I mean, who says that every Ferrari has to be red? But it really points out some of the design changes. Now, if you're a fan of the previous California, this does look very similar, but actually every body panel is different with the exception of the aluminum roof. Now, there's another thing I want to point out here. Notice the rotors, carbon ceramic, and that's fitted as standard to every California T. Now let's press on to the interior, and the seat belt, this really kind of tells us what's going on here. So the Rolls-Royce, the Bentleys we have on the show, those all you can spec those any way you want and on the inside. Same deal here, even though it's a sports car, or GT car in this case. So this is really unique, and we're not going to do an options game with this car. We're going to do what's called the Options Aperitivo, and you will find out in that separate standalone episode why we call it the Options Aperitivo. Now, hang out there. I'm going to show you one other important thing about the interior of this car that actually doesn't have 100% to do with Ferrari. It has more to do with the good old US of A, and that is CarPlay. So, did you guys see our Hyundai Sonata episode from Alabama? We got to use a very early pre-production unit of CarPlay, but we didn't get to drive that car or anything. Here, this is the first one that we've experienced that is a functional, living, breathing CarPlay unit. And all I'm going to say now is this is hugely important. So important, we're going to do a standalone episode on just the CarPlay and living with it. And I will say a couple of notes about this car we're looking at right here. So Ferrari, Volvo, and Mercedes are the first three partners to launch CarPlay in their cars with Apple. But this is the first one in Ferrari, and this car, this one I'm touching right here, you know, serial number 207277 is like one of the first 4 cars in the US with CarPlay. Anyway, let's get back to the Maranello bits of this car, and I think we need to focus on design now. So once again, if you are familiar with the California previously, at least me, I felt that the front was more sexy than the back, and there was a reason for that. This was actually a form-following function, and here Ferrari has been quite prudent by actually giving you trunk space, even with the hard top down. We were able to get our Camry gear in here, which was quite an important feat here. But that is all a function of the height of the trunk. This is why this trunk is so high. Now, me personally, I would have opted for more of a sensual rear end and gone with a soft top, but that's just me. So really the important thing here is the turbocharging. And I want to leave you guys with a question. What was the last 2 Ferraris, not last one, but the last 2 Ferraris that came from the factory fitted with turbochargers? What were they and when were they produced? Let us know in the comments below or via our social media, MotoManTV, all one word, MotoManTV, all one word, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Now, indulge me a minute because I want to talk about a milestone here. So this is our first official Ferrari on the show. Now, granted, we've had Ferraris on the show before, but they were classic cars, and we are very thankful to the caretakers of those cars to share them with us. I mean, that Ferrari Daytona, wow, what an amazing car. Anyway, this is the first Ferrari that is loaned to us from Ferrari. And as you can imagine, not everybody that's been doing this, they get Ferraris. So we're proud of this. And frankly, we would not have gotten here without you guys. So all of us here at MotoMan, we wanted to stop and say thank you for sharing this journey with us and helping us get to this point. Because frankly, without you, we wouldn't be here at all. So number one, thank you. And number two, we look forward to continuing on this journey with this Ferrari and many more. So here's the script. Click here to subscribe, click here to watch one of our 350 other episodes, and most importantly, share us with your friends. You're only wasting half your life on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. MotoManTV, all one word. I don't care who you share us with. Share us with your enemies. Just give the gift of MotoMan.